guys, I am Dharmie Larry. You're welcome to Badagry. So today, this time, we're visiting the first-story building in Badagry, which was built in 1845. And here was the residence of Bishop Ajayi Crowder, who translated the English Bible into the Yoruba Bible. So make sure you watch this documentary to the end. It is full of history. Watch it to the end. Bye, guys.
My name is Mr. Ezekiel Soteji Viabonu. I work for the Diocese of Badagry Anglican Communion Church of Nigeria. Church is managing this historic building called the first historic building in Nigeria. Name of the church called Anglican. So Anglican missionary from England built this house and named this house Mission House. The story building was built by the Reverend missionary from England called Reverend C.A. Goldman. Reverend C.A. Goldman built the story building 1845. But now we are now in 2023. Since 1845 to 2023, this story building is standing for over 178 years now. The story building is standing for 178 years. This building is standing. So there's a painting of a tree called the Agah Tree, because they said that this is where the gospel started, under a tree. And they said under this tree, Christianity was first proclaimed in Nigeria in September 1842. And the first Christmas was first celebrated in December 1842. That's where the gospel started, under a tree, by two Reverend missionaries that joined the gospel together, Reverend Thomas Besh Freeman and Reverend Henry Townsend. Reverend Thomas Besh Freeman and Reverend Townsend joined the gospel together and celebrated Christmas together under the tree. And this is the pictures of the monument now did for the tree now. After the tree fell, they did this monument there to represent the falling of the Agah Tree in Badagry. So they mentioned to us that Reverend Thomas Besh Freeman and Reverend Henry Townsend, that's the two Reverend missionaries that preached gospel under the Agah Tree in Badagry. So date when the tree fell, 20 June 1959, the Agah Tree fell and stand for 350 years. This is the comment of the one of the Reverend about this building, Henry what? Townsend. So Henry Townsend said the house is strong and convenient and will prove very comfortable during the erection. Many persons have come to see it, especially of the single roof. It being the first I have ever seen. Townsend. So Townsend is giving comment to people about this story building. So he's giving a comment to people about the story building. That is the comment of the story building. Say that during the erection, many persons have come to see it, especially of the single roof. It's been the first I've ever seen. Townsend said that in 1923, but it's written on the body of those people. They wrote 1923, Badagry, Mary Xmas on the body of those Africans. Those Africans were not wearing clothes here, but those white men were wearing white clothes and sit on the bench. So those that are still not wearing clothes, they are slaves for those people. The iron corrugated roofing sheet was used for the roofing of this building. You can see it's very, very strong. It's called iron corrugated sheet, still on the roof of the building since 1842. But we're seeing the present one, the one we actually made in Nigeria now. So we can't compare the thickness of those materials together. That is the iron roofing sheet here. Then this is the 1/4 of the iron roofing sheet. That's the ones staying on the roof of the building since 1842. This is thickness of the nails since 1842. That's the thickness of the nails since 1842. And this is the big engines used and to mount the door since 1842. That's the engines used and to mount the door since 1842. So this is the picture of the story building that's actually built in 1843. The wooden story building was first of all built before this bricks one that we are seeing now. The wooden one built in 1843 by Townsend, but wooden story building were converted to bricks by Goldman. It was Townsend built the wooden, while Goldman built the bricks one that we are seeing now. This bricks one standing since 1845 to this date, 2023, is over 178 years old now. This building. And then this is the geographical architecture's map as at 1843. This is showing us how Badagry was actually looked like back then in 1843. And there are so many buildings, so many houses were built in this compound. If you look at it very well, this is the particular building that we are talking about in the center. And this is the church built at the back. And these are some other buildings were built surrounded this building. All these buildings that we're talking about today, all the buildings have gone, except only the one, the building, the story building that we are inside today is standing. And even the farmland, even the front of this water here, they have their farmland there, vegetable garden and rice garden is there. But the government have taken the land from the church now, and that's the reason why the government built a building there, but not yet completed. Then this is the total amount of money was used and to build this house, because Goldman said the house is built of sound of African wood, principally of what we call brimstone. It is 10 feet raised from the ground on 26,000 durable tree called Agah Tree, and a species of coconut tree and on 9 other smaller trees. It is 44 feet in length and 26 feet in breadth and wide. It is estimated to cost £325. That's total amount of money used to build this house. And then this is the pictures of this is the breakdown of the houses built in this compound. The church, the mission house, the kitchen, the schoolmaster dwelling, the boarding schools, laborers dwelling, war, interpreter's house, watchman dwelling, shelter and capital shop, window and shelter, street, vegetable garden, rice garden, and stable. All those buildings that we're talking about, it are built in this compound, but all the buildings have gone, except only this one standing, which is a building called the Mission House, called the first story building in Nigeria. It was actually built in 1845 by Goldman, and total amount of money used to build the house is £325. This is pictures of the first Western teacher, Mr. Claudius Phillips. Is the first Western teacher. He's the man who teach our people how to read and how to write. He taught only men in primary school, men that going to school then, not women and not children, only adults that attend primary school. So adults who attend the primary school, the youngest among them started primary school. His age to start primary school, his age is 45 years. That's the adult who started primary schools among the students that started primary schools. So, and the youngest is 45, while the oldest is 58 years to start a primary school. That's the school that we're talking about, named St. Thomas Primary School. And the school established 1845 with 40 men. And those 40 men, each one of them spent 12 years primary school. So that is the room of the first teacher in Nigeria, Mr. Claudius Phillips, 1845 to 1868. The name of the first primary school in Nigeria was St. Thomas Primary School, established 1845 with 40 men. Now, we're about to go up now to see the room of a man called Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder. This is a staircase to go up. The staircase to go up, and we have 6 bedrooms inside of this story building, 2 sitting rooms inside of this story building, and 4 stores. So there is no toilet inside of this building, no kitchen and no bedroom inside of this building. Kitchen, toilet, and bedroom were built outside of the building. This is the room of a man called Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowder. A man called Ajayi is from Oyo State. Ajayi captured when he was age of 12 years in Oyo. From Oyo, that time there was no vehicle who can convey all of them from Oyo State to Lagos, Badagry. So those slaves, then they trek from Oyo to Badagry. Ajayi was one of the slaves who were trekking from Oyo to Badagry. All of them walked down to Badagry, but so many of them died on their way coming here. Ajayi survived among the slaves, and Ajayi was handing over to Portuguese in Badagry. So Portuguese put them into a boat here, a paddle boat, and take them to across of the a water, which is called lagoon water. After crossing the lagoon water, we seen island. The island is between the Atlantic Ocean and the lagoon water. So once slave get to the island, slave have to walk. They walk down to Atlantic Ocean. where they are saying they are big ship. So they load them into the bigger ship from there and they take them to different countries. So Ajayi were taken to Portugal by Portuguese, but the British Navy stopped ship that was taking all of them to Portugal and returned those slaves back to Africa. So the slaves were returned to Freetown in Sierra Leone. Ajayi actually trained in Freetown and school in a school called Forabe College. He attended a school called Forabe College in Sierra Leone. Ajayi finished from the school and Ajayi sent to School of Theology in England. A man who adopted Ajayi from Sierra Leone that trained Ajayi is named called Crowder. Crowder trained Ajayi, Crowder baptized Ajayi and named Ajayi Samuel. His biological name is what? Ajayi. He was sent from the Forabe College to a School of Theology in England. He was ordained as a priest in Church of Canterbury. He was ordained as a priest in Church of Canterbury. From Church of Canterbury, Eric Townsend returning Ajayi back home to Nigeria. Eric Townsend happened to be a reverend missionary sent by CMS Church to Nigeria. Eric Townsend were preaching gospel in English. Ajayi is the man who stands beside Townsend and doing the work of interpreter. This is the English Bible brought by Townsend on the 17th December 1842. This Bible is over 181 years old Bible. Why this Yoruba Bible? Printed for Ajayi in London by name of this company called Lower and Brydon Printer Limited, London. So Yoruba Bible was printed in 1845. Why this English Bible was brought 1842? So how old is English Bible now? Is over 181 years. How old is Yoruba Bible now? Is over 178 years. That's English version and Yoruba version. So this man here, Ajayi, was ordained as the first African bishop in 1861. When Ajayi ordained as bishop in 1861, this young man here that took pictures of Ajayi is standing at the back of Ajayi on this picture. He happened to be in a chaplain of Ajayi. But the chaplain of Ajayi later became the in-law to Ajayi because he married to Ajayi's daughter. Ajayi's daughter, who married to this young man here, who married to this young man on these pictures here and give birth to a man called Abat Macaulay. So Abat Macaulay on 1 naira coins. This is the man here. This is his father. This is his father to Abat Macaulay. His name called Reverend Babington Macaulay. Because this man got married to daughter of Ajayi to give birth to Abat Macaulay. So this is the room of Ajayi Crowder. So we move to the next one. This is pictures of Reverend Thomas Besh Freeman. This is picture of Reverend Henry Townsend. This is picture of Reverend C.A. Goman. That's the man who built the story building in 1845, Reverend Goman. And picture of Reverend Thomas Besh Freeman and picture of Reverend Henry Townsend. Both of them were preaching gospel. These are two people that preached gospel under the tree and celebrated Christmas under the Agah Tree. But this man built the story building in 1845. Then we have the missionary role in abolition of the slave trade in Badagry. So there was a year that the missionary called the chief in Badagry to support them for slave trade to end. Some of our chiefs who signed letter of the abolition of slave trade. We have King Mewu, King Alapa, King Sumbu, and King Wawu. Those four people signed letter with the missionary for slave trade to end. But majority of them who signed letter, they're also going back to that business they were doing before, and that was business of slave trade. They're also going back and continue doing the slave trade. So slave trade is supposed to end in 1852, but continued till 1888 when it was finally ended in Badagry. 1888, slave trade stopped in Badagry and lasted for 400 years in Badagry. So these are the role that the missionary played for abolition of the slave trade in Badagry. So this is the last room before we go downstairs. So we're seeing pictures of the church built in 1843 and the picture of the front view of this story building built in 1845. The church was built in 1843 and collapsed in 1911. And this is the chair since 1878. It's over 145 years old chair. That's one of the chair of those missionaries. We have the picture of the cemetery. where those missionaries were buried. Numbers of the missionary died and buried in Badagry is 240. 240 of the missionary died and buried in Badagry. So we have the saving bank where the missionary kept their money and some of the valuable items. There's olden days money, which we also found inside of this money. But some of the olden days money, it was being gathered and donated for us by people that are paying a visit here. So these are olden days money here. So so we have olden days coins and cowries and shillings and penny. These are money that we have here. So you can see the coins, shilling, penny, pounds, and cowries is there. We also see some note money here. We have old 1 naira, we have old 5 nairas, old 10 nairas. So let's bring all the money out. This is old of 5 naira note. Old of 1 naira note. That's old of 1 naira note. So this is the old of 50 kobo note, and this is the old of 5 naira note, and this is the old of 20 naira note, and this is the old of 50 naira note, which is called wazobia. All these monies, so all this money is the money that we spent before, and we didn't spend this money. But although some of the people, our elder that spend this money, they are the one who come here and giving us this money for us to laminate this money and use to educate some of our young ones now. That is the money that we have here. So thank you very much. Now, this is the well dug in 1842, dug by the missionary in 1842. This well water, Nigerians and named it Miracle Well. The well water did not name Miracle Well by the missionary that dug the well in 1842. But something about the well, it have never run it dry and it have never changed color since 1842. It only well water around of this vicinity here that is clean and tasteless, and it have never run it dry since 1842. People around here were coming to come and fetch from this well water, and once they come to fetch water from the well, it won't dry and it won't change colors. Now, people who come from far distance now develop faith that, oh, even if you say that this well water, it have never changed color, and no matter how people come and fetch it, oh, they develop faith that, oh, we have faith. I can take this water at home. I can use this water by faith, and it's going to work for me. So people who attach faith on it, it work for them, and they come back to name it what? Miracle Well. Well, seeing is believing. Let me fetch water out for you to see the color of the water. Maybe you can have taste of the water, and God can also do a miracle in your own life too. This is the water. This is the cleanness of the waters. This is it. So thank you for coming to Badagry. You're welcome.
Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying watching this historical video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my video. Watch out for my next video. Bye.